Welcome in Celtics Late Night. Ben Vallis here along with Jake Eisenberg. And Jake, a frustrating one, a tough one against a team that we will not have the opportunity to play again until, hopefully, touch wood, the NBA Finals. Jake Eisenberg, how are we doing?
Good afternoon. Good evening. Frustrating loss, I guess. Any loss is frustrating, but I guess coming into a game like tonight, you want to win the game. No J-Dub. This is the team that I've said is the worst matchup for you in the NBA, and I think that they showed that again tonight. Partly, because of how they defend Jaylen in particular, but I think when it comes to the Cavs and the Thunder, I think Celtics fans need to accept the reality that these two other teams can beat you. And that's just not something that was true last season. There were not multiple teams. There were not a single team last season that had a chance to beat you, in my opinion. Don't care who was healthy. There was no chance for a team to beat you. Both of these teams, the Cavs and the Thunder, are on pace for... The Cavs are legit on pace for 69.3 wins or something like that. And the Thunder aren't far behind. And they are playing that well. There's been some dissension in the Discord. I know that once we get to the playoffs, things are going to slow down. You're going to get the ball out of SGA's hands and they're going to collapse. I'm going to be stunned if that team does not make the finals. Rarely does the Eastern Conference have the bigger problem in that we are the conference where there's only one other team that there's actually another team that can prevent us making the finals. The Thunder will not be beaten, in my opinion, barring injury.
Yeah, they don't have a Cavs of their own in the West. The closest thing they have is probably the Nuggets, who they played twice recently. I believe the Nuggets took one of those games. So there's some potential there for the Nuggets to give them trouble. And they'll have a bumpy ride along the way, a la Celtics 2022. Maybe a little bit less bumpy given how just truly dominant they are. Are you, obviously... The Thunder were a cause for concern. Obviously, the Cavs are a cause for concern. Specific to the Thunder, Jake, are you more worried after tonight's matchup?
I feel the same before and after this matchup. I know that this matchup is going to be very difficult as a ghost just opened Ben's
There's
door.
no one home at my house. That is very, very strange.
To smite you down.
I think it's Red Outback coming in to slap me in the face and tell me to stop worrying.
Go get a dog. Stop being scared and go get this thing done.
That's right.
But yeah, I don't feel any different. This Thunder team has one of the best defenses in the history of the game. My philosophy on beating the Celtics has always been, you better have a goddamn elite defense. You better have a defense that can slow down both Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown. This type of defense is a defense that can give Jaylen Brown trouble, ball pressure, not a lot of easy matchups for Jaylen Brown, or any easy matchups for Jaylen Brown to attack. And this is when they were missing J-Dub, who is built in a lab to defend Jaylen Brown. You're going to have to shoot well to win a series against the Oklahoma City Thunder. And I thought there was a world they got a lot of good looks in the fourth quarter that they did not make. And what did we end up from 3 in the fourth here? 3 for 14. That was a 9 for 23 from the field, and that was where the game ultimately was lost. I thought the Celtics did a really good job battling back 2 different times to get a lead the first time. I don't think did they get the lead the second time, or did they tie it? I think that maybe they tied it. It's all a bit of a blur.
I think it was 95-95 with, I want to say 6 minutes to go, and then we never had the lead from there.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Give or take a minute.
Yeah, it was 90. You're correct. 95-95. Derek White hit a 3, and then Isaiah Joe hit a tough 3, contested. And that's the thing. They're really good on offense as well. So, what's going to be true is that you need to win. You need to shoot well in a series against the Thunder. I don't have a huge. There's going to be a lot of discourse about the 62 threes. And the way the Thunder were playing you had to shoot threes.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Well, yeah, I think it should be a short conversation, the way that the Thunder were locking down the paint, particularly in the first half. And they went up 9-0 with that strategy quite early on, and we were looking to attack the paint and go ISO with the Jays, particularly Jaylen Brown. He was attacking Cason Wallace quite early in this game. Wasn't working for us. Thunder were getting theirs on the other end. 9-0, Thunder, timeout, and then we come out and just like immediately start like taking threes. JT starts attacking Chet in drop with like an Al high pick and roll, and then just kicking it back out to Al Horford for an easy three. And it was just all like 3-pointers from that point onwards, because those are the looks that the defense were giving us. So I understand surface level criticisms over the volume of 3-point shots, but like if that's what the defense is giving you, you have to take that. And we've seen so many times other teams have just like fallen to the Celtics giving up that strategy, where the Celtics are just like, okay, great, bet, I'm going to make all these threes. And they do. And tonight, in the first half, once they understood that strategy, they were quite efficient. And then obviously that huge drop-off, particularly in the fourth quarter, unfortunately, where that's unfortunately the issue with high-volume three-point shooting is they are high-variance shots. Thunder took a lot of low-variance shots in this game, closer to the bucket. And yes, you get less points for those low-variance shots, but you typically shoot them at a higher efficiency. And that was one of many reasons why the Celtics fell tonight. Another one, I think, is just that there's a long list of players, Jake, that you could and should be able to expect better from. Jaylen Brown, you mentioned, this was a tough matchup for Jaylen Brown. Probably no better example where like his worst enemy is still himself, even against as talented a team as the OKC Thunder, where third quarter late, we're in transition. You know the play I'm talking about? Goes to spin, unnecessary spin maneuver, and the ball is so far out away from his hip and he gets stripped. So predictable. A tale as old as time, and the OKC Thunder go up and score on the other end. Luckily, I think Tatum got the ball back and scored the very next possession, but tough times for Jaylen. You can definitely expect better for Jaylen Brown. There's still a very long list under Jaylen of players that I hope that we can expect better from in a potential series against the Thunder. Anything more you want to say on Jaylen before we move on to those guys?
Yeah, that one was tough. 86-85. Celtics playing great defense. You know, you have a chance to, like, he has the ball, and so there's 46 seconds left in the quarter. You can execute the 2-for-1. I actually think they kind of did okay in the 2-for-1, but I'm torn on it because I want him to be aggressive in transition, right? Mm-hmm. Like you have to want him to do the things.
Be smart though.
That's the thing. The spin move, it's hard to pull up the numbers on successful spin moves. I would venture a guess that like they're not typically his best dribble move. Usually like and it's Isaiah Joe is the one that's defending him. And obviously this is just one possession, but like just go in and out dribble and go straight through his body and either, you know, get to the rim and make a play or go straight through him. The spin move, it's just one play, but it's more emblematic of the type of game that Jaylen had, like 10 points on 15 shots. Like, I think it's fair to say that Jaylen Brown will be better than, what even is that true shooting? That's because he had 0 free throw attempts. 33% true shooting. I guess that was how the true shooting percentage works, because he was 5 for 15, 33%. And because he didn't make any threes or take and make any free throws, his true shooting remained at 33%, which is
not good.
Garbage, like, obviously. And so I think that this team could give him trouble, but can Jaylen get into like the low 50s% wise true shooting for a series against the Thunder? I don't think that's super unrealistic, but it's not a good matchup for him. But I do think that he battled outside of the offense. I thought, and again, to zoom out, I thought this was a really good game. And
it was.
This is two really, really good teams. Like, for anyone expecting that this is just going to be easy, it's just not going to be. And I thought that Jaylen did a good job of like trying to impact the game outside of the offensive like shot creation stuff.
A lot of hate for SGA in the comments. I'm not about that. I think he's a fantastic player. You know, it's one of those things where if you're a player on your own team, like if say Jason Tatum, for example, was that efficient at drawing contact and getting himself to the line, you would be lauding that shit to the cows come home. But because it's the opposition, it's easy to criticize, but like it is an efficient style of play. Is it absolutely infuriating from the opposition standpoint, from our standpoint? Absolutely. But dude gets himself to the line, and it's one part of a massive arsenal that he uses to be this MVP caliber player that he is. So I don't really understand the hate for SGA. To me, he's like such a pure hooper. Well,
I think he's not Embiid level flopping, but sure. There is. He had a couple tonight where he was trying to foul bait, and it led to very like gross shot attempts. He had one that he banked in. Like that they didn't get the call on, that he just threw up there, that he banked in. So I think for the most part, I'm with you. He's not a player to me that like solely relies on free throw attempts. Granted, he has a fucking good whistle / he knows how to draw calls. Like he had 34 points and 10 of them came on free throws. Like I thought they did a pretty good job on him for the most part. I thought they did a pretty good job of getting Tatum away from him as well. I don't have anything very negative to say about SGA. He's really, really good. He's really good.
Yeah. He's incredible. I really like watching him play when it's not against my favorite team. Peyton Pritchard, another member of the list of players who you should be able to expect a lot more from.
That one hurt.
I think. That one hurt a lot. I really liked it, just sticking with the Shea stuff. Peyton Pritchard picking up Shea full 94 feet, I thought was pretty effective and a good way to at least slow the Thunder down in terms of getting into their offense. But
forced a turnover.
Yeah. And also just it kind of minimizes the degree to which Pritchard can get caught up in those actions, even if for no other reason you're just limiting the amount of time the Thunder have to get into them. But it kind of means like the defenders on the court with Pritchard and Pritchard himself have more sort of oversight of what's going on the court and have more ability to call out actions and arrange themselves around them. So it's kind of a sneaky way of getting Pritchard out of being targeted by the OKC Thunder as well, which I think is great. But other than that, Pritchard, tough one. Hauser as well, we can lump him in here. Like, you're there for the primary reason for being on the court. Hauser, Peyton Pritchard, primary reason. Hit your motherfucking wide open threes. And in this case, they missed almost all of them. Pritchard had a couple of this one late off the dribble. Hauser had one in the corner, 1-3 all game, which was a critical 3 at the time and got me leaping off the couch at the time. But just you have to be more efficient than that.
Yeah, he made one corner 3, but it was and it was a big one. It pushed the Celtics to 85-86, but he missed that other one. And I don't know, it wasn't even close. And when you only get 4 attempts, you got to knock him down. Yeah, him and Pritchard combined for 3 for 13 from 3. Mm-hmm. And that hurts. Hauser only played 11 minutes in this game. No, but Pritchard, I thought, outside of the shooting efficiency was good. Defensively, he's just improved so much. Like, I thought he made it really difficult on SGA, I thought. And SGA, like 11, if we're going pure field goal wise, 11 for 20 for SGA for one of the, is he still 55%, obviously. You kind of live with that. You have to foul less. And we can go loop back on the free throw stuff, but I thought Pritchard, like, he's going to be playable in a series. The minutes are going to go down a little bit, I think, because, hopefully you have Porzingis. Jaylen was in foul trouble. Derek was in foul trouble as well. And both of those guys are going to end up playing like 40-plus minutes in every game in a series like this. So you're not going to see as much Pritchard. But defensively, I thought he ended up being a +1. I don't necessarily think that's because of him necessarily. It's because he got to share the court with Jason Tatum. But yeah, you are going to need, as a team, to shoot well against the Thunder. You can't shoot 30% and expect to win a series. Like, they shot 33%, I think, against Dallas in the finals. And that was just it didn't matter because the Celtics were so much better on both ends that shooting like that, even, shooting like that in a series against a team that's far below you, not a huge problem. Shooting below 35% in a series against the Thunder, but again, this game was close, despite you only shooting 30% from 3. And if you're able to get a couple of those to go, you can force it into clutch time. Maybe things go a little bit of a different way, but Pritchard definitely falls into the bucket of guys you hope can turn it around a little bit in a series.
For sure, Rivens rocks up. Hopefully, as we finish the Pritchard talk, mostly positive. And like just to clarify, this is an optimistic viewpoint in that going forward, we should be able to expect more productivity from all these players. But they were unfortunately disappointing tonight. Just to finish out that list, Jake, and then I'll throw to you to throw some topics out. But Jrue Holiday, not great. He had moments, I thought, defensively where he was pretty solid. Though early in the game, a couple of threes went down, and I'm thinking, great, mallet finger, not an issue. The shot is back. Are we going to get the celebration back? No, we didn't. And then sort of overall, as the game bore out, team low, -14. Just a pretty tough showing for Jrue. I hope, this is why I left him to the end of this list. I truly hope and pray that we can expect more from Jrue Holiday in the playoffs and like particularly a Thunder series. I don't know. I'm torn on this one, Jake.
See, when I watched it, and I was watching it on delay, so I didn't see like the minus 14. I didn't think watching it that he was bad to me. Like, obviously, he missed a ton of makeable shots.
Yes.
Like, he ends up 4 for 10. I thought he passed up some like layups
Under the hoop, yeah.
under the hoop, and I think at least one of them led to a 3, maybe 2 even. But because he actually can bully some of their guys. I thought he did a really good job getting to the rim and creating some stuff down low where we were having trouble doing it. And that's like they're not necessarily hiding because they don't have any bad defenders, but they're trying to put some of their weaker defenders on Holiday. And then the 1 for 7 from 3, I thought he got some good looks, and I think he'll make them. I think the mallet finger, I'm sticking with it. I don't think it's a problem. I think that he looks physically fine to me. Like he's had some games where he's been more efficient, with the finger. Has he played 2 games now with the finger? And he made his 3s, I think, in the last game that he played. So it's hard to be like, it bothered him in the most recent game. It didn't bother him in the previous game or this game. Like, yeah, he was 2 for 5 from 3 against Utah, 1 for 3 from 3 against the Lakers. So, like, it's hard to know if it's impacting him or it's just small sample size stuff. But he continues to look good physically to me. I'm not worried about Drew. I think he's going to have a good playoffs, and once things like really get going. But yeah, you need, again, if he doesn't, you might not win the series though, because like you can survive Drew Holiday maybe not being good, or Peyton Pritchard not being good, or Sam Hauser not being good, or Jaylen Brown not being good. You're not going to survive all of them not being good.
Yeah. Is it fair to say this was like kind of a good game by the Celtics? Like, if you look at Tatum's line, and like obviously I thought it was a pretty solid like captain stock from Jason Tatum, awesome. But it was pretty solid, and especially there was a Tatumless stint to begin the second, which we sort of barely survived. Then Tatum came in and it was like, it's fucking go time. It's a Tatum party. He went off and he was just like scoring everywhere at the rim, mid-range from 3, attacking everyone. The classic like get the big backpedaling and drop coverage and just like either pull up right in front of him or like get past them as they're backpedaling. He was just masterful. Finishes with 8 assists as well and 8 boards. Is it kind of fair to say that like we just get a little bit of extra support around the edges there? Then it's like this is kind of a pretty simple win for the C's.
Yes, I believe you're referring to the second quarter in which he played 7 minutes and 13 seconds, had 12 points on 5 for 5 shooting.
That's the one.
Which was pretty good and was a +5 in that time. I think like if you're looking for positive takeaways, Tatum is my biggest takeaway because he was able to do what he's been doing all season long. And in all the big games, he's been awesome this season. Like, maybe not all of them. I have to go back and actually look at it, but I think I saw some numbers today on like nationally televised games. He's been like he's just having his best games, and I think that checks out to me watching with my eyes. Like has been getting up for the big ones. Obviously, was awesome in the Lakers game. Been awesome in all the Cavs games. He was fantastic tonight. He had 33 points on 23 shots, 65% true shooting, 8 boards, 8 assists. Defensively was like a monster. He had that really nice, a ton of really nice plays where he got downhill, froze Hartenstein, and then had a little drop-off pass to Luke Cornett for a dunk. Like 33, 8, and 8, And I thought that his whistle, like he got kind of screwed on a couple calls tonight. I thought a little bit, but honestly a little bit more on the defensive end and like someone like the rebounding stuff more so than necessarily getting downhill. But I'm sure he could have gotten to the line with some of his drives a little bit more. But I thought he was awesome. And if you're looking at a series, if he can be comfortable and he can be effective and he can do what he's been doing, that means you're going to have a chance, and that's going to give you make you feel good, game in, game out, because he played 41 tonight. He's going to play closer to 43, 44, 45 in a final series as he starts to ramp up his minutes through the playoffs. So the fact that he was not bothered by the Thunder defense is probably the biggest takeaway and the biggest deal, because if he's able to do his thing, that means the health of the overall Celtics offense is going to be positive. And I thought he created a ton of good looks that we missed, which is why we ended up 20 for 60 or whatever it was. So him specifically +4 in this game. So obviously if he plays 48 minutes, maybe you survive. Shea was a +3 in his minutes versus Tatum a +4. Like those two guys, it was kind of awesome, man. They were going back at it. It was also sick. Like if you're fucking watching this game, it's like, yeah, Tatum is one of these guys. Like Shea's the better scorer. I think that's like totally fair to say that Shea's the better scorer, but Tatum playmaking wise and the rebounding, the ability to guard all those positions defensively, I think that kind of pushes Tatum into the same tier for me. But like, yeah, really good game, and that's why I'm going to at least feel like we're always going to have a shot when he's able to do this.
Yeah, absolutely. Great point. I have many more questions to ask you, Jake, but I feel like I should stop steering for a little while and just ask you, like, what else was important to you from this one?
You have to, so the free throw stuff, obviously frustrating, but like, Joe Mazzulla had a quote which Bobby Manning tweeted, like just this part where they lived at the free throw line. People are killing Bobby for leaving out the rest of the quote because Joe talked about like a bunch of other stuff in the quote. Let's see if I can pull it up here. But essentially, he wasn't saying it to say that the refs screwed us. He was saying it to say like we cannot foul that much. Here it is. Full quote. Just got to generate good looks. We'll take a look at the margins and all the things that go into it. I thought we handled the majority well, but there was some timely stuff. We didn't get the 2-for-1 at the end of the first quarter. We fouled a 3-point shooter. That was brutal, Torrey Craig. We had some timely transition turnovers. We talked about that with Jaylen. We got some they got some offensive rebounds at critical moments, and then they lived at the free throw line a little bit. All those things get magnified when you have two really good teams playing against each other, and they look to take advantage of those things. He's absolutely right. And obviously the biggest margin, which is why I started with this, was the free throws. And I didn't think that the whistle was that egregious when I watched it live. I thought that they kind of got stuck under the basket rebounding-wise a little bit, and that led to, who had a ton of free throws tonight? Yeah, Holmgren had some free throws, and Hartenstein had 4 free throws, both of which I'm guessing are above their typical free throw attempts. And that, Kendrick Williams having 4 free throw attempts, it's too many. And so that margin you have to clean up. And the Celtics are typically a team that does not foul. They're one of the best teams in the league at not fouling. And I think it reminds me of playing the Heat. And I've been saying this all season, is that this Thunder team reminds me of the Heat, except this team is actually good. And the Celtics progressed past a team like the Heat that could actually beat them without the talent, and now the Thunder have some of that intense physicality, defense, IQ, but they also have superstar talent with Shea and Chet and Hartenstein and in no J-Dub tonight, obviously. Yeah. So you have to win that. You have to not necessarily win that margin. You got to survive that margin a lot better than you did tonight.
Yeah, it's a tough one, and like obviously there's no real excuse for the Thunder having that many attempts at the line, other than we did bump up those numbers late when we sort of tried to play the fouling game late in the fourth quarter. Sure. But early, like, again, doesn't speak to the volume from the Thunder side, but in terms of the disparity between the two teams, like, because, like we said, the Thunder were locking down the paint early and we were jacking so many threes, like, you're not going to get to the line jacking threes. Maybe like on the kick out pass, but even then it's typically a sideline out of bounds. If you're not attacking the rim just by design, because that's what the defense is giving you, and those are the shots that you're choosing to take, like, you're just not going to generate a lot of looks at the line. So at least partially you can attribute it to that, at least in the sense that the Celtics taking less free throws than they might normally. But yeah, it's a really good call out. On the physicality, I mean, I was definitely feeling it watching the game, and a lot of that was I was just like in my thoughts and feelings in this one, just sort of hating life, watching the Thunder get to the line as often as they did. But it did, yeah. It did kind of feel like, and I really never go this way. I don't like to talk about the reffing because it's just kind of a holistic part of the game. It did feel like the Thunder were allowed to be a lot more physical than the Celtics. And I only say that because I genuinely really, I think, felt that way and saw that as I was watching the game. I thought they were just kind of roughing us on our like post catches, for example, and on screens. And it did feel like they were allowed to. Jaylen spoke about this in his post game presser and was like, yeah, they're just smarter with their physicality than we were. And we like weren't up to the challenge in this one. And he kind of called it, he acknowledged it, which I thought was great. And it bodes well for like how they'll manage that matchup in the future. But yeah, it did seem like there was a huge disparity in terms of what was allowed in terms of physicality.
I think that's fair, but the Thunder also, this is how they play defense. Like, they are the turnover generating team. The Celtics are not a turnover generating team. They are a team that brings the fight to you possession after possession, whereas the Celtics are a bit more like, we're trying to get you to do what we want you to do. Take the shots that we want you to take. And I do think that there's some culture shock to a team like the Thunder, similar to the series that we lost to the Heat in the conference finals. I remember talking about how, like, who do we play in that second round? Philly. That's right. A joke of a franchise that we even went to 7 games. But like a team that's not playing you defensively with that level of intensity, that level of physicality, and that first game is always going to be like really, really surprising and shocking.
Yeah,
because
sure.
you're not, and in the regular season, we just came off a game against Utah and a game against the Lakers, who we got to go against Luka Doncic and Austin Reeves. So like, there's nowhere to practice going against a team like the Thunder without going against a team like the Thunder. And there's only one team like that in the NBA. It's the Thunder. Because even the Cavs, for as good as they are not able to do defensively to the Celtics what the Thunder are typically able to do. So the Thunder won the physicality battle. Yes, they were able to get away with more, but you have to, bring that fight early. You got to force the refs to, Mark Dadnott the other night, I think he said, I'm going to force the refs to foul someone out. I forget who it was. And they didn't do it. And, well, they were comfortable fouling Jaylen Brown out today. And it actually reminds me of the Minnesota Celtics game where they went to overtime a couple years, like last season, and the Timberwolves won. And Ant was just like fouling Tatum on the perimeter over and over again. And Edwards was like, well, they weren't going to foul me out. And it feels like, well, Can you use that logic for us also?
Yeah,
but
that'd
again,
be nice.
Bring the fight to them and up your level of physicality, which I think you're going to be more, well adjusted to do in a series.
Derek White fouled out for the first time in his career, which I choose to use as a segue just to talk about how fucking awesome Derek White was in this game, especially early when we were just desperate for offense, and the person who really took the lid off the basket, Al Horford, who, fuck me, Al Horford is like the best human living on the planet, maybe ever, which I believe I'm stealing the words out of Spoonie's mouth there. But Derek White, incredible, got the lid off the basket for us. I thought as the game went on, he was a little bit more aggressive, like getting to the basket as well, which we haven't seen, I think, as much of from Derek, at least post All-Star break. So it was good to see him trying to be a little more aggressive there, understanding the moment, understanding that maybe we're not getting much from Jaylen or Hauser or Peyton Pritchard tonight. We need a little bit more from me. And I felt like he was a bit more purposeful in the way that he attacked the Thunder defense. There's so few seams in their defense to attack. And I felt like he kind of went about finding them a little bit, which was necessary. But obviously from 3, dude, I got the box score up here. 6 of 12. So I'm not as efficient. I mean, it's still fucking 50%.
That's
but it's
pretty efficient.
It felt a lot better at the time watching the game. So great stuff from Derek White.
Yeah, man, he's awesome. I mean, your 3 guys that showed up tonight in a real way were Tatum, Horford, and Derek White. Mm-hmm. And I know those are probably your 3 most bankable guys, night in, night out. I think Jaylen has been really good lately, and I'm confident of him in the playoffs. But you can count on these guys, and I'll throw Jaylen in there. I feel bad for saying that now, but Derek White was huge. He hit that big 3 in the fourth quarter. Defensively, man, 2 steals, 3 blocks. I thought he was really good. This is a really good matchup for him defensively, it feels like. Mm-hmm. He was able to get a lot of his defensive playmaking stuff going, which, is really important against a team like the Thunder, because you can generate some more transition stuff. It's like anytime you can get a steal or a block, that's going to lead to numbers and an advantage going back the other way. And he was huge for helping us generate that type of stuff. Mr. Free Throw, which killed me. But, 22, 8 rebounds, 5 assists, 2 steals, 3 blocks is an absurd thing. Yeah, him fouling out. And we actually won the offensive rebounding battle, believe it or not, 15-11, which almost worries me in a little bit. I think part of it is because we took so many more actual shots, because we had 94 field goal attempts to their 82, and that's purely because of the free throw disparity, as free throws are not counted as field goal attempts. So I think that the rebounding numbers are juiced a little bit because of that. And we missed a shitload of threes, which led to offensive rebounds, which led to more missed threes. But it's a good matchup for Derek White. I think that you can get, the Tatum Derek 2-man game. It's tricky though. The Thunder are similar to the Celtics. They're happy switching all their guys.
Yeah.
Jaylen said it in the post game. He's like, even some of the guys you think you might be able to take advantage of, they fight. And Cason Wallace, like I think, Jaylen probably thought maybe he was going to come in and bully him a little bit, but Cason Wallace has been one of the better perimeter defenders in the NBA this season. And like, he fights like Pritchard does, but he's got more tools that Pritchard does. Like you got to be on your P's and Q's when you're going against these guys with the quick hands.
Yeah, and apparently they're defensive specialists. I speak almost like exclusively of Lou Dort, can just like nail threes now. I don't know what he's on for the year.
Now it's really annoying.
Yeah, that sucks. I don't think I knew that as much as I probably should have going into this one. And every three was like a knife into my soul.
Because it's a disgusting looking jump shot. That's the problem.
It is. Yeah,
but
absolutely.
he's shooting 39.8% from three this season on 5.8
cool.
attempts, which is good. And if I'm not mistaken, last year he was pretty close to 40 as well. He was 39% last year as well. So he's frustratingly turned himself into a good shooter. He did have like a step back mid-range thing that was gross and 1-3 that was like really well contested. Mm-hmm. I don't like him. He annoys me. Like there's just certain players that the way that he plays, he gets away with like the physicality, and he flops and like flails around and stuff. As Marcus Smart fans, I'm very aware of the hypocritical nature of this statement right now, but it pissed me off today, and it would piss me off in a series as well. Mm-hmm. But I didn't think that he like wrecked the game in any way necessarily.
It was big early.
Yeah, I think it was more his 3 threes. I felt more than I felt his. His defense was good, obviously, but I didn't feel like, because he can give trouble to, like him and Jaylen are like the best two Luka defenders in the NBA, and Dort has done a really good job on some guys, but I feel like Tatum's a little too quick for him. Yeah, man, Tatum, I can just envision Tatum kind of dribbling and kind of crossing him up a little bit and crossing up some of the, like Tatum's handle has.
Dude, he was incredible. That long boy outstretched arm layup to end. Was it the third quarter? Fuck, amazing! Yeah. Like you think, he's gonna get his shot blocked, and then his arm is like as tall as like we are. He just has so much distance.
Of me, definitely
yeah, absolutely. So just a couple of comments on Al Horford, and then I'll get to like the big question in my mind. But Al Horford. Maybe the way to look at this is like, are we learning anything new about Al at this point? Like he's just, other than like, it's definitely still there, I think is maybe the main takeaway. It's absolutely there. Sometimes it lays in wait in the shadows for a little too long and we start to question it and become concerned. Is it going to be available to us, the Al Horford magic in the playoffs? And then like he'll have a stretch like this where he's getting up for big games and like showing who he is, who he still is. And you're like, why did I ever doubt this guy?
Yeah. Yeah, I feel very happy with this podcast and especially myself and being like, I'm not worried about Al. Not worried about Al.
Me and Spoonie had a moment. It might have been on the Patreon, but we had a moment recently.
Yes,
we faltered.
I know.
We wavered.
Look. I live the mantra, never too high, never too low. Brad Stevens, Jason Tatum.
I have been too high. It's not good.
Yeah. What goes up must come down, Ben. That's important lesson to teach our children. But yeah, like Horford, dude, I mean, early, thank God for Al Horford, hit 3 threes to basically get us off the schneid and get the scoreboard ticking over. 18 points, 10 rebounds, 6 assists. 18, 10, and 6, a steal and 2 blocks. He was awesome. He was fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And 34 minutes tonight. Like he only hit threes. He was 6 for 12 from 3. The fact that he's willing to take 12 threes is so important. Him and Derek both 6 for 12 from 3. But yeah, man, he's so important. And I will just do a shout out to Noah Dalzell, has been doing like a series on all the Celtics players' mothers, on trying to do a series on all the Celtics players' mothers. And she just released one on Al Horford's mum today. And it's an incredible read, basically. It's also unsurprising. It's like from a very young age, Al was a perfect person. He was very smart and very driven, and it was awesome. But like at the very end of the piece, I go read it, but he's basically like, he's not fucking retiring. Like, why? I don't know why anyone thinks that he's retiring, but he is still capable of doing this against all the best teams in the NBA. And thank God, because we did get a questionable injury report status, which is an upgrade from the doubtful from the previous day for Kristaps Porzingis. But again, we were relying on Al Horford, and I thought he did his job absolutely up to what we needed from him.
Yeah, shout out Noah Dalzell as well, who's just absolutely cooking over there for Celtics blog and the many publications that she writes for. So the big question, I feel like we've been kind of building to this. We talked about Al, which is very important. There was another big man missing in this game tonight. Kristaps Porzingis. Of all the matchups in the league where like talking about and crediting the Thunder defense where it's so difficult to just like find seams to attack, there were stretches in this game where I just thought, fuck me, it would be good to just be able to dump the ball into KP on a switch on the block, let the man go to work. Maybe there's kick-out passes available as a result of that, but it's just like easy looks, easy buckets, getting to the free throw line, closing that free throw disparity gap. Of all the teams, Jacob, all the potential matchups, is this like the one of all where we need Kristaps Porzingis, the Lavian Moses, to be successful?
Need him.
Yeah.
Need him. You can win a series without him, but like you need him. You need him in a matchup against an elite defense that's just like causing you a ton of trouble. He's a ridiculous offensive player. You need a guy that can give you 20 plus on 65% true shooting. You need a guy that I was waiting for you to say it. You want a way to even up the free throw disparity? Get Kristaps Porzingis in there. Like get him on the block, start getting him, get the grift going back the other direction there. Like when you're just like starved for points, and there's been stretches like it wouldn't surprise me in the first game of a series or if he had played tonight that the physicality really bothered him. But I think that he could work his way into being a bit more comfortable. Like, yeah, the Latvian guy in this matchup is probably the most important, even more so than the Cleveland matchup, because like generating good offense against Cleveland doesn't really seem to be a problem. It's more about can we stop Donovan Mitchell from being Michael Jordan, and yeah. Got him to questionable. I can kind of loop back on Luke Cornett a little bit as well. Just like very impressed with Luke, but yeah, gonna need KP in this matchup.
Well, yeah, and shout out Mary in the chat as well. Like it's not just his threes and everything he does offensively. Like the rim defense, just like having the ability to cheat a little bit and like recover if you do get blown by and like cover the rim from so far away when you do get inevitably beaten off the dribble at that size. His ability to do that is incredible. And like when you've got the Thunder, Shea like relentlessly attacking the rim to just have that much of a beautiful Latvian deterrent in that area is quite an asset. So, but yeah, Luke Cornett, man, I thought Luke Cornett had some like really good stretches, especially against Isaiah Hartenstein, who got his back. He kind of physicality'd him a bit, but Luke fucking godlike putbacks. I think he had two of them.
Bro, one of them was
soaring.
Insane play.
The Cornish game man.
That greatest. It's so sad that's kind of locked into the Chamber of Secrets currently, but like, that is maybe like the play of his career. It was awesome, dude. And his chemistry with Tatum is fucking real, dude. And in a game where you don't have KP and like coming to the season, I'm like, can Cornett play in the playoffs? To a point, yes, but he's played against the best team in the league, or the team is going to give you the most trouble in the league, or of this group of three teams at the top that are just like going ready for a bloodbath for the 2025 NBA championship. Like Cornett was good in this game. Gave you 9 points. He got himself to the free throw line 4 times, 3 for 4 from the line. You take that. He had 4 offensive rebounds. He was solid, but you feel it in that he's a good rim protector. KP is an elite rim protector. And there was a couple of moments where like Hartenstein got him on like the little jump hooks in the body. And I'm like, KP would be stopping those. KP would have stopped of the 3 that, how many points did Hartenstein, field goals didn't end up making 4. I feel like KP's able to stop 2 more of those, like those 2 little jump hook in the paint. Like Hartenstein maybe isn't even shooting those, whereas he was able to just get free, high percentage, low variance looks at the rim over Cornett, and KP is just so important for slowing some of that stuff down.
KP is such a chill dude. He's like, I'm not jumping on your first fucking pump fake. I might not even jump on the second or third. And he doesn't need to because he's already like, he lives in the sky. He's so tall. I have some miscellaneous points that maybe we can wrap up on, Jake, unless you've got anything else on the game or anything that's on your mind, really. This is late night. We are rudderless, planless.
Didn't love the Torrey Craig minutes, I'll be honest. And he fouled. I think it was him that fouled.
It was.
We had 3 fouls in 4 minutes.
Yeah, he fucked up.
Yet another reason why, Porzingis is important. Like, you're going to have, no Torrey Craig minutes because it opens up the ability to play more double big lineups. Because it's become very clear that like your best lineup to me is Horford, Jaylen, Jason, Derek, Drew, and then a version of that is like KP. There's a Horford KP, and then there's a Cornet Horford and a Cornet KP. Cornet's become that type of guy, and the way that they're able to use Cornet's space, like, and still provide good spacing and have really good offense, like, those are your best lineups. You need that dude because that means you don't get Torrey Craig minutes.
Yep.
I'd have to go back and really look at the minutes and the numbers, but like, I think if it's the playoffs, you're just not seeing Torrey Craig at all, even if KP's not there. But didn't love the Torrey Craig 4-minute stint, which is not necessarily his fault. As we keep harping on, he's a buyout guy for a reason. If you need him in a series against the Thunder, you're going to lose a series probably.
Yeah, exactly. But in the regular season, this is easy to say in hindsight, but it's like, would I have preferred 4 minutes of Walsh? Like, probably. I just think he's maybe capable of just maybe making a little bit of magic happen out there with just like a first to the floor moment, maybe. We always we used to talk about manufacturing magical moments. We haven't in a while. Drew was always the captain of that team. It hasn't been this year, but I just feel like, yeah, Jordan Walsh capable of maybe producing a little bit more spice and magic out there. And Torrey Craig, like, he only had one shot attempt to this game, really rushed it, didn't get his feet under him. It was pretty ugly.
Well, he passed up a look in the same possession that he, like, against the Thunder. Like, I'm not mad at the 62 attempts, 63 attempts. I'm really not.
Yeah, they were there to be taken.
Yeah, like, if they're going to pack the paint, you know what you're going to do? You're going to drive in there, you're going to get your shit blocked, you're going to turn it over, and that's just infinitely worse than every single three-point attempt that you get, especially clean looks. And he had a semi-clean look that he passed up, which ended up back into a much worse attempt. And maybe he makes that shot that he passed up and creates a magical moment that you're referring to. Jaden Springer is better than Torrey Craig. Brad fumbled by Hondo 80 in the chat.
Shout out Hondo.
Maybe, but I tell you what, Jaden Springer playing against a defense like this, a guy that can't dribble, I don't think the Celtics defense was really a problem tonight.
Yeah, agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed.
Besides the failing.
I got some missed points. Now in the chat would be a good opportunity if you've got any thoughts on the game, any takes or any sort of miscellaneous takeaways that we haven't got to so far tonight. Hit us up, let us know. But a couple of things, Jake. So the Jumbotron had a bit midway through the first quarter on the Celtics team. Do you know this part? The Celtics field of expertise. Like, they asked them, what are you the team expert on? Yeah. Jaylen Brown said he was the team expert on warrior mentality, which, like, trust Jaylen Brown to take that way too seriously. But KP said coffee. He's a team expert on coffee. But then he paused and said, I'm also the team expert on some other stuff, but I'm going to keep that to myself, with a little grin on his face. My question to you and the chat, what else is KP the team expert on?
Well, maybe
this is a family show.
Maybe that would explain where he got this rare disease from. Stop sticking your tongue in places it shouldn't be, KP.
My thoughts exactly. Yes.
Jesus, dude. Good. There's only one way to get pink eye. There's one way to raise your chances of getting it. So everyone should be celibate between now and the playoffs and the finals, unless it's your long-term spouse, would be my advice to Kristaps Porzingis.
Absolutely. Yes. Good call out. Sam Hauser buzz cut, looking good. I believe it was for charity.
Welcome to the team.
I think it's a great look.
Welcome to the team. I mean, not a good start for the bald existence. Typically, you end up, shooting 100% for your first couple of weeks.
That's right.
But that's okay. He was just adjusting to the new, this like zoominess of his head. I think he was moving too fast. I think maybe was his problem tonight.
Yeah, Mary Poppins, good call out as well. That Cornet said he was a team expert on emotional availability, which is great. Classic Luke Cornet.
He would easily be the choice if someone was going to be a therapist in another life. Is
definitely.
Can you imagine how safe you would feel with Luke Cornet as your therapist? This 7'1", big friendly giant, just incredible.
Yeah, I mean, it would be a professional violation because I'd be like, we have to be friends. Like, this is not enough for me. We need to go and live together and have a bunk bed that we share. Yeah. We mentioned the Luke Cornet put back. Two other things. I mentioned Derek White fouling out for the first time ever. One other thing, Jason Tatum quickly ducks to the locker room in the fourth quarter. Sean Grandy tweets it out. It gets shared in the Discord during the game. We're all freaking out. He comes back in before play resumes. Jason Tatum, very efficient basketball player. Quick poo break. Wow. Is it the most efficient poo ever in the history of poos?
I will say, look, in year 11, during maths, I became, well, not just in maths, but I developed a reputation for a quick pooer to the point where I was getting timed from leaving my seat, toilet, back, had to send a picture of the poo as proof, which is subtracted from my time. So maybe that's the one thing in this world I can compete with Tatum at is quick dumping.
Very efficient on and off the court for Jason Tatum. You'll love to see it. All right, that's my scrapbook emptied. Got it in the
Shout out the Reigning Jays, the junk drawer.
Yeah, that's right.
I really like that. Well, yeah, I was kind of flying. I wasn't watching the game live, so I was flying through on replay.
You missed
it, and so I knew like to make sure I was done in time for late night, so I wasn't even taking notes because of some like poising and stuff like that. If I'm watching it on delay, but
sure.
So I've got no additional junk, especially in an emotional game where I'm like frustrated and like on edge. But look, good game. I really appreciated your junk drawer right now. Appreciated
bit of levity.
Bit of levity here. Yeah, look, we lost to the Nuggets twice last season. Everybody said because of that we had no chance of winning the title, and the Nuggets didn't even make it out of the second round. Now, I think this Thunder team is far superior to that Nuggets team last year, who was running on fumes, and again this year has proven to not be anywhere near the Celtics, the Thunder, or the Cavs for a second year in the case of the Celtics. So I'll be continuing to lay out the best possible path for the Celtics' hopes for the Thunder to have a difficult path. That is like something that would really, really help, is that they have a difficult path as opposed to just getting like a cakewalk to the finals, because if that's the case, it's going to be very, very difficult. But that's why nobody wins back-to-back titles very often. It's tough to do.
Yep, absolutely. Good call out. So looking ahead at the schedule, like that might be the last big important game. We've got the Knicks on the 8th of April. That's a nice early game here on the 9th of April in Australia, 9:30 a.m. So I'm guessing that's a 7:30 p.m. tip-off on the 8th there. It's waffled on way too long about a game start time a month from now. But other than that, and like the Knicks, I don't want to give too much away. I don't know how much you're avoiding scores at the moment, but let's just say the Knicks are in a little bit of trouble right now against the team they're currently playing. Yeah. So I don't know. It may not even be an important big game by the time we get to that. So it's kind of it. And now the priority comes like, okay, whatever's going on with Jaylen Brown. Nothing bad is going on with Jason Tatum. Jaylen Brown, like get him healthy. If you can improve the mallet finger situation for Drew at all, like focus on that. Get KP's conditioning ramped back up once he does get over whatever plague is currently plaguing him, for lack of a better term. Any other priorities, like looking forward to the end of the season here, Jake? Like what else is on the front of your mind?
You definitely want to get KP back and build him up, like, and build the chemistry of that starting lineup. Like that is the last real game of the season. There's a few fun ones mixed in, don't get me wrong, like the Blazers. There's a Blazers, Kings, Suns, Spurs, Grizzlies road trip, and like Kings, Suns, Grizzlies, even the Blazers are frisky. Like those are fun games. They're not necessarily games that matter, because the Kings, Suns, and Grizzlies you will not be seeing in the finals. So they're just more like good tests, good teams to sharpen your tools against, and you play the Suns again at home, but. Like there's a few fun ones, but like get healthy. So you got a back-to-back with the Nets and the Heat and the Nets coming up next, and I'm guessing it's going to be another like you're going to see 3 of the top 6 out for both halves. That's going to be what I expect to see on like a bunch of these games. And I like the way they've approached it lately, right? Because you ramped up against the Thunder and the Lakers and the Nuggets, and the Cavs. So like when good teams pop up, it's like, okay, well, we're playing the Kings or the Suns. Then it's the Grizzlies. It's a good time to like play some guys some extra minutes, like treat this time, because you do want to build, like you want to give Tatum and Jaylen like some 40+ minute games to get their bodies used to it. Like Tatum's always talked about that, how he likes to play some of these games going into the playoffs to get his body, and his mind used to what the playoff intensity and the playoff load is going to be like. But yeah, man, just get healthy, get Jordan Walsh or Bella Shyman out there.
Hell yeah.
And I've been enjoying those games because, like, you know, when you're this good and you get this late in the season, you're just looking for fun stuff. And I think we're going to get a lot more of those end of bench guys this last kind of few weeks here.
Yeah, we've got the Wizards on the 6th of April as well. Marcus Smart. So, like, don't get injured. I'm just kidding. I love Marcus. But I'll just take it easy on that one, please. All right, cool. I think we can leave it there. Jake, like, I know you've got some playback scheduled games kicking around. What's coming up for you in the next week or so?
Yeah, well, I've got 3 or 4 days here until I head overseas to Japan. So I'll be just look at. Don't have actually anything planned off the top of my head right now. I might stream playback tomorrow, depending on if we do another podcast or not. But yeah, you guys know where to find us. Like it.
That's right.
Hit the like button while you're here.
Please do.
Talk to us soon.
All right, folks, we'll leave it there. Thank you so much for joining us. Jake Eisenberg, love your work, man. Until next time, go Celts.